I mean, we know certain things are really important in life. Like if you've ever had car trouble, if you've ever had unreliable transportation, and we all know it's important to have like a reliable car, but man, you can't even quantify how valuable reliable transportation is, and we all know it's valuable, but it's still underrated. It ruins your life. I had a buddy once that got a cavity. He's like, at least if I broke my arm, I could walk around. He goes, I can't think. I can't sleep. You get a cavity, it ruins your life. It's like last night, the Patriots lost at home against the best coach in football history, 38-9. What would Buffalo have won by against Doug Marrone, Mike Mularkey, 51-3? That was against Belichick at home in a standalone game, and it wasn't even competitive, the gap in talent, speed, playmakers. Bill Belichick, if that's not a wake-up call that he needs to give more personnel power to somebody else outside the organization, I don't know what is. They haven't drafted a skill player that made a Pro Bowl in a decade. I think it was Gronk was the last one they drafted, and he retired once. The numbers are staggering. 11 first downs, 200 total yards. Buffalo had almost 500. Buffalo had the ball for 40 minutes. New England 20. Cam passed for 34 yards. And I talk about transportation being underrated, even though you know it's valuable. Let's just admit it this morning. Tom Brady was undervalued. No, I said it. Despite all the credit, despite us knowing how great he was, despite calling him the GOAT, he was undervalued. I'm going to ask you a question. Try to figure out the answer. New England had a top 10 scoring offense last year. How? Their offensive line is better this year. New England was 12-4 last year. Their only losses were to 3 division winners and a really red-hot Miami team at the end. How? They don't have any players. I mean, this whole thing was always, remember, we always argued, it's the system. You'd see these newspaper articles. You'd see these articles in magazines, clearly New England coaches planting them. It's about the system. I want to talk for a second about the system, because the system got a lot of press. I've never met the system. The system is Josh McDaniels, because Belichick lets Josh run the offense. So Josh McDaniels created a system is very sophisticated. He actually took it to Denver. And so this morning I went and looked up how the system did in Denver. Oh, it was 11-17, fired after 2 years, and in scoring in the NFL, it was 20th and 19th. 20th and 19th. Okay. There are exceptions in life. The system then moved to St. Louis. McDaniels got fired, went to the Rams. Let's see how the system did in scoring. Oh, it was 32nd in the NFL in scoring, dead last. Okay, all right. We'll give him a quarterback. All right, let's give him Cam Newton in the system. He's a former MVP. Oh, they're 28th in scoring. Brady, in 20 years, in the system, was never lower and almost always above 7th. They had a top 10 offense last year with that. This garbage. How? Again, the offensive line is better this year than it was last. And you see the duress sometimes. Cam, who's more mobile than Tom, is under. This system is a bunch of nonsense. Tom Brady is the system. He's the system. Because Tom Brady went down. Everybody talks about Bruce Arians. Oh, first year with Bruce Arians. Everybody struggles. Tom's not. He's going to complete 68% of his throws. His passer rating is going to be over 100. He's going to have like 37 touchdowns and 11 picks. Come on. You tell me. Maybe Bill Belichick, he relies on a system because he's won now 46% of his games without Tom Brady. These numbers are staggering. And Cam Newton, again, former MVP. We never said Cam Newton was Tom Brady. Here are the numbers, Tom Brady to Cam Newton. And we went in with realistic expectations for Cam Newton. He didn't get a preseason. He was kind of an odd fit with Belichick, we thought, and Josh McDaniels. Look at the numbers. Brady, 24 touchdowns, 8 picks. Cam, 5 touchdowns, 10 picks. I mean, I'm sorry, but there are certain things in life we know are valuable, and they're still not given enough credit. Tom Brady now qualifies. That and a reliable car. So Dwayne Haskins is no longer a member of the Washington football team. Talented kid at Ohio State. I thought he looked like a number one pick. Big, strong football factory, won big games, not super athletic, but can move a little bit. But, he looked like a number one pick at quarterback. Big, strong, stands in the pocket, can take a hit, you can bang off him, he's strong. I asked Urban Meyer one time, I said, is he ready to start in the NFL? And it was a little bit of a warning flag. He's like, nah, not yet. That tells me it's probably some maturity issues. But every 3 or 4 years, there is a college quarterback that comes out. Now, Haskins didn't qualify as this, but we do know now that Haskins simply wasn't mature enough. He just wasn't ready to run a $5 billion franchise. But about every 3 or 4 years on this show, a college quarterback comes out. He's always talented. Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston, Johnny Manziel. I was a little tough on Cam, not as much as Baker or Johnny or Jameis. And I question their maturity. And without exception, the media freaks out and the fan bases freak out and everybody freaks out. And do you know why I question maturity? 2 words, Dwayne Haskins. Washington just wasted 2 years babysitting a quarterback. I think we should have a new term for quarterbacks. I had Jimmy Johnson on a couple days ago, and he talked about the 2 things that mattered to him. Number 1 was decision-making. Number 2 was accuracy. Let's just be honest about this singular position. I'm not saying it matters in baseball, hockey, soccer, basketball. I'm not saying it matters at any position except quarterback. But this is the one position in American sports, perhaps international sports, where 2 words are really important. Are you uniquely mature? Because I don't think Dwayne Haskins is any less mature than the average 22-year-old. I don't. I think he's the average 22-year-old. But from now on, let's just all acknowledge that this doesn't matter in hockey, baseball, basketball. I don't even think it really matters in football. But when you draft a quarterback, he's going to have to be almost square, like Andrew Luck and Tom Brady and Russell Wilson. Uniquely mature for a 22-year-old. He's going to have to deal with the press. The linebacker won't. He's going to have to deal with the owners and some sponsors. The safety won't. He's going to have to memorize a playbook, not only for himself, but his teammates. The defensive tackle won't. Uniquely mature. I'm not blaming the player all the time. I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes parents aren't uniquely mature, and you don't find your way until you're 32 years old. But owners can't wait for that. And the problem being is when you get a Baker, or you get a Johnny Manziel, or you get a Dwayne Haskins, who they're just not perfect maturity-wise for the position, they often go to the worst teams. And the worst teams are the most chaotic, with the craziest owners, with the most impatient GMs. It's a Cleveland, it's a Washington, it's a Detroit, it's a Jacksonville, and that just compounds it. But everybody always freaks out. Let's just have a new rule on this show. For one position in American sports, baseball don't care, basketball, hockey, soccer, football don't care for quarterback. Are you uniquely mature to get the keys to a $5 billion franchise? And if you're not, you're going to be criticized. And that's okay. Because Johnny's out of the league. Dwayne may be out of the league. Jameis, who's talented and productive, is now a backup. I'm not sure if Cam gets another shot, and he's been great this year. But the Dwayne Haskins story is why we ask the questions. It's why we bang on it. Washington spent the last 2 years in a competitive division just babysitting. Can't have it. Not at that position. Anything else? Guard, Mike linebacker, Safety, punter, I could deal with it. Can at quarterback. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.